Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the CQ The Watch Guy podcast with me, CQ The Watch Guy, and I hope you're having an amazing day today. I know I am. We are here in Miami, Florida at the DavidSW headquarters here in Miami in the Design District. We're actually on top of our little I guess you call it patio, a little garden space we have on top, overlooking a little space here, just having some fun. We thought it was a beautiful day. Let's do a shoot outside. So let's make it happen. It's a little windy, but I think, the audio is going to come out okay. So we're going to just go for it, right? So I wanted to jump on there. I really wanted to talk about Geneva Watch Days because that is in full swing, and we already see some great brands starting to make some drops. But the real news that kind of took over the watch world last week has to be the Rolex acquisition or the pending acquisition of Bucherer. And this was news that just kind of took the watch world by storm. Nobody was really expecting it. So funny, somebody came to me and was like, hey, I think it's just about to happen, and literally 10 minutes later I was sent a text message with all the news broadcast saying that the official press release was out there. Rolex is going to be purchasing Bucherer, and I think this is just very interesting news. Now, of course, I wanted to step back for a second and just kind of see all the conspiracy theories and theorists kind of spin out there. Me and Al from CP Time, we did do a little live and kind of give briefly what we think about it. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more in depth on what I think about the acquisition. Formally, I think it's a great thing. I think if you look at it from just a real macro level, right? Mr. York Bucherer is 87 years old. From the statements that were released, he didn't have a direct descendant who he wanted to give the business to. Bucherer is a very large business. It's been around since 1888. One of the largest jewelers and retailers in Europe, and over 100 doors in Europe around the world. They bought Tourneau in 2018. So big presence in the U.S. as well. And you want to kind of have that go to another company, another business that knows how to handle something like that. And as well, being a Swiss businessman, why wouldn't you want it to go to another private Swiss business who knows how to handle very large operations and will keep the legacy of what your family has built intact, right? Because at the end of the day, when we go away, we forget about the money, we forget about the objects. It's all about our name. It's all about legacy. And I think, if I was in those shoes, that would be something that would be important to me. So that from that side, I think it's natural. From the Rolex side as well, I think it was a very easy decision for them to make as well. One, they have the capital to do it, that's for sure. Two, Bucherer, again, being a very large retailer, over 100 doors or stores. Over 50 of those stores sell Rolex or Tudor products. That's a large presence that you really wouldn't want to be sold to, people that you don't necessarily trust, a company or whatever, a group of people that not even you don't trust, maybe they're new to the jewelry industry. Because technically, let's say Bucherer was just sold to anybody who just wanted to write the check for whatever billions of dollars for that company, right? And there are many people who could write that check, and let's say they just went to the highest bidder. Now they've inherited authorized dealer contracts for many top brands, right, including Rolex, Patek Philippe, and all the big brands. Now this opens a real issue because now Rolex kind of, you're kind of beholden to deliver product. And you still want to make sure this product is, delivered in the right way to the consumers. You still want to kind of protect your whole ecosystem, right? So you don't want to kind of invite somebody into your ecosystem who isn't vetted the right way, who doesn't know how you like to work, et cetera, et cetera. So by Rolex making this decision, they kind of protect themselves from inviting somebody into their ecosystem who they don't want to. And let's say, because I did see a rumor out there, not a rumor, theory, that they'll buy it and maybe spin off Bucherer or sell it to somebody who they vet. And I think that'll probably be something that'll be interesting because, I don't know, from a money standpoint, I don't think they need a Bucherer, right? I don't think, yes, maybe it adds to their portfolio, but I don't think, it wasn't like they weren't very profitable before. It wasn't that they're not sitting on a gold mine or a money printing machine as they are right now. So I think, if anything, if I'm in that business, Bucherer just brings on more headaches than anything else, because now you're dealing with all these doors and all this, all this minutia now. That before, hey, you make the watch, you send the watch to the ADs, they sell the watches, and it's kind of good. And what I don't know, the 30-ish% that people think that I'm going to net back, I'm really not going to net back, because again, there's payrolls, there's all these other things, there's rent, there's all these other things involved. So that 30% that you think I'm going to net back, where people are thinking, okay, Rolex will not be able to sell directly to consumer, that gets chopped up and it really turns into a very small percentage for somebody. Hey, we're going to just, things will be as it is. This is just kind of a natural thing to help out Mr. Bucherer and kind of make sure the business there is protected. I don't see them kind of intermingling in other brands. Maybe I don't know. Hopefully we get a cool Rolex Bucherer special edition or something like that. I think, those, in my optimistic mind, those are the things you can hope for. But I don't think, at least in the next 4 or 5 years, I don't see any big changes. I don't think you'll see Rolex stomping out smaller dealers more than they have been right now. I think if you're a dealer who is a Rolex dealer right now, you've been playing by their book, you've been doing a good job, you've been doing what they wanted you to do for a long time, because you treasure that relationship anyways. So I don't think this news really does anything, because again, Bucherer has always been a big relationship for them, and they've always probably treated them very well anyways. So this news doesn't really affect anybody. I did see Watches of Switzerland, they did have to make a statement. I think they made, and that statement just said, hey, this business won't affect their other businesses. Rolex will run Bucherer just as normal. Basically restating what Rolex stated, just because they did take a big, I think a 25% hit on the markets there. And again, it's just all speculation. But Rolex is, I'd always make these comparisons to the ocean. Rolex is the biggest ocean liner, cruise ship, super yacht, whatever you want to think. So when they make moves, it's very slow, it's very gradual. And when you see a move like this was well thought out. This wasn't like a knee-jerk reaction, and I really doubt this is, their, entryway into like taking over the direct-to-consumer relationship space. For a long time, I think they've enjoyed having authorized dealer relationships. They're one brands where if you have them as a authorized dealer, they're one brand that you listen to. They're one brand that says, hey, we need, one extra foot of space. You make that extra foot of space happen. If they want certain colored gloves are worn, if the suit needs to be a certain color, etc., you do what it takes, because at the end of the day, they're a product that sells, and any business that has them in their doors does well. So I don't see many dealers not doing what it takes to make Rolex happy. And I really, we're in a situation now where, of course, the markets, makes everybody gets into this theory on, where does the product go and everything like that. But again, flippers are who caused the market the way it is, and we'll see what happens as things goes out. I think Rolex is working to produce as much as possible with the new factory, but if we just talk about this purchase, I think nothing happens. You can hope for a really cool limited edition, but I think nothing really happens in the long run there. But of course, there'll be plenty of speculation. But I think if you're a consumer, I think this isn't a reason to like jump from one AD into a Bucherer store or Tourneau store thinking like, hey, they're gonna get X amount more production. I think if you have a established relationship somewhere, keep that relationship, keep working with your person, especially if they're taking care of you, because I really don't see this as a situation where, okay, boom, they've purchased a Bucherer, now they're gonna close down a bunch of ADs and you're gonna see a bunch of Bucherers or Tourneaus popping up. Not the way they operate, really not necessary. And you got to think that every store you open up is new headaches and really just not worth it, not necessary. Now when they start selling Rolexes directly online, then I'll panic a little bit. But until that day, I'm not panicking. I don't think you should panic either. I think it's some interesting news, that's for sure. Shocked the industry, shocked the internet. Either way, since we we're talking about Rolex, I figured my picks of the week should be all Rolex centered. So this would be like an all Rolex episode for you. And let's start off my picks of the week today with a beautiful Rolex 16713 GMT. So this is a faded root bear with a beautiful Surdy dial. Now I love root bears, especially vintage ones. They just have a beautiful character. This one's in really good condition with a beautiful gold Surdy dial. And Surdy dial just means it's a jewel dial. So this one has diamond indices on the hours along with ruby indices at the 12, the 9, and 6 o'clock. And it just really gives it a nice unique look, especially on the yellow dial there. So diamonds and ruby Surdy dial, and just a classic GMT. So again, if you want something vintage, neo vintage, but just has a really good character, I love Surdy dials, and it gives me a lot of that Miami flavor as well. And I just really enjoy them, and this one is in really good condition. I'm always, when I look at vintage sport watches, actually all vintage Rolexes, I'm big on bezels. I really like bezels that haven't been too over polished, and this one has a good bit of grip on it. So definitely check out this Surdy. It just landed on the website, and definitely a good pick of the week. Moving on down, I paid so much attention to the mint green Sky Dweller and mint green Datejust on the last episode, but I wanted to come back with another green. It's olive green palm motif Datejust. This is the 36, and I just love the palm motif. It just gives me that last few weeks of summer vibe. I thought this was great when these were released a couple years ago, and now you really see them in the metal much more. I think it was a great fun thing done by Rolex, and when they were released, a lot of people were a little bit polarized, but now that you see them on the wrist and in the metal, I think they're just a nice fun touch. If you want something unique and it's not overpowering on the dial, but if you like olive green, if you want green but you want something with a little bit more texture on it, and if you like the islands, if you like a little palm motif, if you like the Caribbean, the beach, anything, if you just like to relax, get the palm motif. It'll make your heartbeat slow down just a little bit. I think so. Next up, keeping the Rolly train going, we got the Yachtmaster 40 Everose on the Oyster Flex. These have just been a hit since they came out. Everose, Yachtmaster, Oyster Flex. Yachtmaster is just, I don't know. It's just looking at this watch, it just makes you want to just grab it. What I really love about this watch, honestly, is for being a precious metal watch, having that ceramic bezel tones it down just enough where it gives you a little bit of oomph, but it doesn't scream across the room, and I really enjoy that. So you get a nice little bit of oomph with having a rose gold watch, but because it's on the Oyster Flex black rubber and that black bezel, you have a watch that doesn't overpower. You can wear as an everyday watch if you're not afraid to wear a little bit of precious metal there, and it feels good once you have that Oyster Flex size right to you, something that feels good, looks good, and it is a tank, and it's something you can have fun with, you could swim with. You don't have to take that watch off. Love it in the rose gold, love it in the white gold as well, in the 42, but the 40 was the originator on the Oyster Flex, so you gotta give it some love. And then we go with the Sea Dweller Deep Sea 136660 660 there, deep blue, and I just love a deep sea. I talked about the Ultra Deep Omega, so I talk about the deep sea blue. This is just big, chunky, beautiful watch, not for those with the lighter wrist. If you can't pull it off, you can't pull it off, but if you can, I don't know, it's just a Hoken watch that gives you a little bit of touch of beauty with the dial. Of course, you can dive wherever you want to dive with this watch, and it kind of speaks for itself. Definitely something you want to wear with the short sleeves. And I like the 13660 because over the years they've just kind of been updated in deep sea, so we have a little bit of a thicker bracelet now. They've been refining the case a little bit. We don't have the big extension anymore because honestly we don't need it, and I think this is the best version of the deep sea, and these have been coming at really great prices right now. And I will finish off the Rolex train with the best car on the train today, which is the Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi white gold with the meteorite dial. And this is, I don't know, man. Meteorite dials for me are just, they're out of this world, literally, right? And when you pair that with a white gold Pepsi, you just get a tank from out of this world. You could do anything in this watch. It's white gold. People don't know what it is. And that meteorite dial plays so well in different lights. In the sunlight, it'll shine. In a little bit dimmer light, it'll be a little bit undertone. So again, it doesn't scream across the room. If you know what it is, great. If you don't know, it just looks like a nice watch, and it is, to me, the definition of understated luxury. Every wrist I've seen this watch on, it looks amazing, and this is definitely the piece that, you know, a great watch to step up your game. If you're willing to, like, you know, step up budget wise, and you're just like, I don't know, I want something a little bit exotic, but, you know, I don't want to, you know, go too crazy all over on the case. I think the meteorite Pepsi is something you should really, really consider, especially if you want something with a little bit of a unique dial. And yeah, again, this watch is, words really can't express how great this watch looks. I've seen it in, you know, every light, everything imaginable. Man, I just love this watch. Yeah, so that's my last Rolex of the day. For this and many more watches, make sure you check out DavidSW.com. And if you want to reach out to me, you can always call or text at 484-926-8762, or give me a shout at Sequan at DavidSW.com. Hope you have a great day, and buy what you love.